he just wants a cool picture.
Yeah, I just want, dude. That's literally all I want.
Like, he comes up to me on the sideline, and Kuntz is like, "Dude, I think they might have got a cool picture."
This dude recovers the fumble. I'm behind him, run. I'm like, to the camera, to the camera. Dude. He doesn't run to the camera. He instead runs across the end zone. You motherfucker. Throws our best K-ball, number 1 K-ball that's brushed up into the stands.
And got fined for it.
And you deserved it.
Dude, if you're watching this podcast and you
have the football.
Have that football.
You're
invited to our next recording.
Welcome to the Christian Kuntz. I'm your new co-host.
You want to be?
There's a spot right there.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Well, that's not the fucking intro. I do the intro. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Christian Kuntz Podcast. I'm here with my boys Vinny and Trey. We got Bova here with a camera. Jesse behind the boards as always. And we're joined by a very special guest.
Co-host.
A possible new co-host, but highly unlikely, Mr. Ben Skowronek.
Welcome.
How you feeling today, Benny Sko? Benny Sko.
Don't do
Benny
that.
Sko.
Don't do that weird stuff on here, man.
Wow.
Relax. I feel good, man.
You feel good?
Play out football.
Did you get in your hyperbaric chamber today? This dude's in the hyperbaric chamber. Every time I text him, I can't do it. I can't come to your podcast because I'm in the hyperbaric chamber. I have my appointment with my hyper. What does the hyperbaric chamber do? Honestly,
it increases the atmospheric pressure and then pure oxygen. So it's like goes deeper in your tissues for healing. Oxygen equals healing. I know they probably didn't teach you that at That's something Northwestern and Notre Dame taught me.
Yeah.
I do go, like 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week. It's right up here in Wexford.
I will.
MD Hyperbaric. Shout out Tracy.
Shout out Tracy. At Regeneration right here?
No. MD Hyperbaric.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Tracy.
It's across the street.
Are you going after this?
I'm going tomorrow.
I will give it to you. For being as goofy as you are, you did go to 2 of the most prestigious schools, and I'm wondering how the hell did you get into either one of those? Seriously, I'm dead ass asking.
You probably wouldn't know too much about this, but like when you get recruited for like Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of more so like
Duquesne's Division 1, by the way, but go ahead.
AA.
All right.
It's one of those things where I was a little nervous about like Northwestern getting in there, and then they asked for like my SAT, and the craziest thing about that was I ended up taking my SAT next to the quarterback that committed in my class to go to Northwestern. He was from Fort Wayne as well.
Oh wow.
And I just I don't like taking tests, and I didn't do any like the SAT prep that you probably had to do. Like
I did take an SAT class.
Wait, you just
took an SAT class.
Let's take bets. What was Christian's SAT score?
Low.
No, I got definitely. I think I had like 1,100 on 2. I was over 1,000 on 2.
I was
Is that
not.
Good?
I might have cheated.
I think that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. 1,000 on 2. Yeah.
I ain't got no shame in it. I definitely cheated. I ain't gonna lie. I did.
I certainly did not. So like he was sitting in front of me, but that was just like doesn't really mean anything. I just took it as fast as I could, and whatever my score was, they're like, could you take it again? And I was like, no, I'm not taking it. They're like, all right, we can get you in with this. I was like, all right, cool. But it wasn't anything crazy, and my GPA was just like above 3 a little bit, probably. I don't know.
So you didn't deserve to get into Northwestern. You just happened to be really good at football.
Not really good, but good enough to go to Northwestern. I wasn't like a 5-star
you
or
weren't?
a 4-star.
Was high school in Fort Wayne, Indiana? Was football big in Indiana? Now it is.
It's getting there. Like I feel like when I was coming up, we did those camps, those 7-on-7s, stuff like that. There was a good amount of dudes from my area. They started like a training facility. And it really started like Tyler Eifert. I don't know if you remember him. He
tight end.
He was tight end. He played for Notre Dame. Then went to Cincinnati for a handful of years. There was him, then Jalen Smith and his brother Rod Smith, who they started training at this facility, and then more kids from the area because Indiana's a big basketball state, so like basketball is king there. But this guy named Mike Lito started the facility and got, all these kids from our city getting together. Then eventually this guy named Dre Muhammad, who ended up being my trainer, he's out there going crazy right now, producing like 5-star receivers every year. There's a 5-star receiver
out of Indiana.
I'm in Indiana, just Fort Wayne. So it's kind of getting bigger out there.
Wow. You were a 4-star, you said?
No.
3-star.
I couldn't run back then. I was a 3-star, low 3-star.
What'd you run your 40 when you came out?
When I came out of high school, like
no, for the pros.
I couldn't run a 40.
You were
had
hurt,
a broken
right?
foot. Yeah.
Wow.
I felt like I got a lot faster throughout college, but like I was like, happy to break 5 at like the Nike opening camp. You know what I'm saying? In high school.
Holy shit! Because
like, you can get faster.
I can't.
You can if you actually worked it. Like you can get faster. But I also was like I was a pretty late bloomer.
What else did you play? Hoops in high school?
I played hoops. Won a state championship. Had a dude played with Caleb Swanigan. He was
played at Purdue.
All-American at Purdue. Played with him. R.I.P. Man, he was my dog, but he passed away a couple years ago. Played with him. We had a D1 point guard, another D1 big. Like it was.
Did you guys dominate, or was the competition in Indiana hoops?
No, there was competition, and I'm talking every game. It was sold out, man. Like.
Don't you guys have like the biggest high school basketball court?
Biggest high school gyms, like
crazy.
That was a fun year. That was my junior year. We won state my senior year. I didn't play. I wanted to get ready to go to college, but yeah, I always like thought I was gonna be in the NBA, and I always told my dad that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it makes sense. What made you choose the path of football?
When my dad, he said, son.
We know where this is going. Next question.
He said, we were just talking, and like you know how it is. Like you always, what do you want to be when you're older? And for me, it was like I always want to be a professional athlete. It's like, okay, like what do you want to do? I think I'm probably 8th, 9th grade at this point. I was like, I want to play in the NBA, and that's when my dad hit me with we were watching an NBA game, I think. He said he probably knew I was gonna grow into 6'3". I was probably like,
your dad
6 foot at
your
the time.
dad's a tall dude.
You guys are all athletes, right?
Kind of.
Well, I mean,
when
I
you
don't
say you all like Christian's not an athlete. He's a long snapper. But
pretty good athlete.
We were watching basketball one night, and my dad was like, "Son, how many 6'3" white guys do you see on the court?"
There it is.
And
where white dreams go to die.
And then that's when I kind of started playing football, and he really wanted me to play quarterback, like. And there was a receiver at my high school who ended up going to Indiana, and that's like I just watched him. My brother was 3 grades older than me, so my brother was quarterback, but there was this receiver who was really good, like, and I wanted to be like him, so I wanted to play receiver. And then my dad hit me with another one. He's like, you should really play quarterback. And I was like, I want to play receiver. He's like, everyone wants to play receiver, and like no one makes a D1 in receiver and all that. But
can you throw?
I can't. I hate saying I can't do something, but I just could never throw a spiral, man. Like,
really?
I feel like I could go back there and like, I feel like I know the game of football pretty well, but when it comes to throwing a spiral, like
I feel like you're built for QB. Like, I mean, you're a great, skilled wide receiver as well. I don't mean to diminish that. But
QB, punter, kicker, I get that a lot. But receiver, I don't get much. But here we are.
That's a flex, though, dude. That's a flex.
Yeah, right?
That is a
major flex.
So you went from, you balled out a little bit of Northwestern with my dog Flynn Nagel.
Yeah,
I ended up one of Benny's best friends, Flynn, was my roommate in the XFL.
Oh, that's
we
really?
didn't know that until we played the Rams. Was that 2 years ago or last year? Was that last year or 2 years ago?
It was last year.
Like
6 years.
It does feel like 6 years ago. Last year, and then that's where I met him because we knew Flynn, our mutual connection, and
cool.
They are characters. So I couldn't imagine what was going on at Northwestern.
This guy comes up to me pregame, and his last name, and I'm just like, what's this guy? he's like the only one on the field. I'm like the Steelers, like they just have like a cheerleader, like a cheerleader. What's going on? That's when we first met.
That is when we first met. So take me through, Northwestern with Flynn. How were your teams there? Were your teams good? Were you competing for anything Big Ten at that through those years? And then why'd you transfer to Notre Dame? Hard hitting question there.
Yeah, that's like a 3-parter, man.
Yeah,
that's because
I want to hear it all.
So the year I was being recruited there, 2015, I think they were like I mean, they were good. Like I want to say maybe finished 10-3.
That's good last year.
Beat like a McCaffrey, Stanford.
Wow.
Lost, got smacked by Tennessee in the Rose Bowl. That was like when they had.
Oh, I remember that.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, I remember that.
I said the Rose Bowl.
It wasn't the Rose Bowl.
No, it wasn't the Rose Bowl. It was a Tampa Bowl. I don't know why I said the Rose Bowl. I think they were a game away from going to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
My first year there was a little bit of a regression. I think we went 6-6, maybe beat Pitt in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. It's been struggling.
That was a fun game.
Hug a Pitt fan, did it?
Yeah, let's just talk about the Pitt game real quick because
we'll get there.
My dog over there, he's a little salty.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for us to play Duquesne.
Oh, shit. It just came out. Pitt's playing Duquesne.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Oh, I didn't even know. That didn't make the national headline.
It didn't? It made it made the local. You
Cut that.
Yeah, probably cut that.
That's funny.
All right, so you beat Pitt.
We beat Pitt. Bowl game. The second year, we had a real good year. We went I think we had another 10-win season. Went to the Music City Bowl. You know, the famous Music City Bowl. You know, great bowl. Beat Kentucky there. Great time. I think it was around New Year's in Nashville. Nashville's a great city. Wow. We had a great time. Did you ever go to? No, 1AA doesn't have bowl games. Bowl games are a great time. Like,
I know
that's not really a shot. It's bowl games are a great time. It's the end of the year. It's almost like an end of the year party for a week, and then you play a game, and like it's a good time. Third year, my junior year, we went to the Big Ten championship. You
got poo-pooed on.
We almost got Ohio State.
No, you didn't.
Their Jimmys and Joes were a lot better than ours, but we fought. We fought, and we went to the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. Another
famous,
great destination.
Wow.
Great destination.
Wow.
And then my senior year, I got hurt the third game and redshirted. So I was kind of like in limbo. I knew I needed to have a good year to get drafted. I got hurt, like high ankle sprain, missed the rest of the season, and then I was like medically redshirted. And I just felt like, you know, I went into that year knowing like this is my last year at Northwestern. That's kind of the mindset I had. So when I got hurt, I was like, I'm either going to the NFL or going to transfer. So I talked to the coach and just ended up, and my family a lot, but like ended up being like, you know, I'm a transfer. I really wanted to go to Alabama, but Devontae Smith came back, and everyone was like, "You're crazy if you go to Alabama. Like, you won't play at Alabama." So, well, if I can't play at Alabama, can't play in the league. Yeah. Like, there's a dream there, but
which isn't true.
I mean,
there's multiple guys that have been at Alabama that have been backups, not even playing, that are now stars.
But I don't know. Like for me, I wanted to go to the biggest school I could go to. Like I've always, you know, all those primetime games and everything. Like. Chance to win a natty, but they didn't end up recruiting me in the portal. Notre Dame did. I went on a visit there. It was a perfect fit. Like Claypool had just left, Boykin the year before, so
big receiver bodies.
Body. They did a good job, and
was that COVID year?
That was COVID year. Ended up going there.
You played Pitt that year too.
Yeah, played Pitt that year.
How'd you do in that game?
I did all right.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, we could pull up. I can't remember the stats.
Yeah, you can. I know for a fact you remember the stats.
I had 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. I don't know about the yards. Over 100.
Good percentage of catch to touchdown ratio.
My yards per catch.
No, I'm defending my team. Fuck that. Okay. Hey, listen. We ain't have KP. I'm gonna call it what it is. They were a really good team. Cal Hamilton was killing on the defense. Your defense was awesome. Not gonna lie. Defense was balling. Yeah. Like they had one of the best defenses.
You guys had the best uniforms in the game.
Bro, forget those uniforms, bro. You gotta understand, bro. We were playing against a bunch of dudes who legitimately loved nothing else but just to hit your face, right?
And our team was cold, bro.
Bro, they were cold, bro. I'm not gonna lie, they were cold. But we had shout out to my dog. Like I'm not trying to talk bad about him. We had my boy Joey Yellen. You feel me? And Joey ain't never played a starting down really in his whole entire life. So like. Game. It was a good game, but they was whooping ass.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, bro, they was whooping ass.
It was a beatdown.
You get outmatched when you play Notre Dame.
You got really worked up there.
Yeah, he's upset.
Losing, bro. It's been a long couple years.
I'm telling you, hug a Pitt fan right now. They're going through it.
Hug a Pitt fan right now for sure.
Duke just whooped our ass. Like, I'm just trying to.
He'll get it back. You guys used to have some good basketball teams with Jamie Dixon back in the day.
Yeah.
Damn.
Remember like that guy, like DeJuan
Blair from
Bring back the Big East, dude.
Yeah,
that was a great time. That was a great time.
That was great.
That was the best. The Big East back then was the best.
I feel like they had a good point guard too. I can't remember his name.
Vance Fields,
Julius
Carl
Page,
Krauser, Julius
Carl Krauser.
Page. Yeah.
They had
Sam
some good
Young.
basketball teams, but since then,
What's the
you guys almost had a good year in football this year.
Damn, bro, they're our neighbors.
You almost
he
did.
ain't wrong because we almost did. It just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
We got it. Listen, I got my chip. That's all I care.
7-0 to 7-5 is crazy.
6,
Yeah.
Oh man!
I told you he's
hate Notre Dame. I don't like Notre Dame.
I told you he's a dick.
Dude, if Duquesne upsets Pitt next year, this podcast is going to count.
I will no longer be.
I
promise you, if Duquesne wins against Pitt next year, I will no longer be on this podcast.
Wow.
Bro, come on.
Can I be a co-host? Is
yes, and then he could take my spot.
This dude's begging to be a co-host.
That'd be a good one.
You'd be decent.
That'd be decent.
You'd be very decent.
We'll see how the views do. If
Yeah.
the views are the highest they've been, I'm co-host from here on out.
All right, deal.
So I got a question. I want to know, when did you, because you also had tackles at Northwestern, correct?
Yeah.
So like,
What do you mean?
Oh no, not really.
Not
you
really.
meant offensive tackles. I'm like, yeah, we had a couple drafts.
yeah,
but we did.
You know what I'm saying? But like,
tackles at Northwestern.
Yeah, he's he's
like special teams.
I think they're just off like interceptions.
yeah, they were interception tackles. But I wanted to ask you, man, like right now, you're in a position where like you're known as like a special teamer, but a really good one. And on top of that, you're a great athlete, so you do get reps on the offensive side too. So like, talk about that, bro, because you watch you play, bro, and you look like you loved, like you could have played defense. I ain't gonna lie, it looks like you could.
Have 2 fumble recoveries this year.
I got two this year. But yeah, it's actually crazy because I only played kickoff, return my freshman year at Northwestern.
That's crazy.
Right? So, and maybe a little punt return, but like
You the deep guy, or are you one of the
front line?
Really?
Front line, yeah.
Huh.
And
yeah,
like
hardest blocking
the
football.
hardest blocking football, just getting
destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Unless you played front line on kickoff,
You don't know.
And they just changed the rules, but like
It's still brutal.
it is the hardest job in football.
By
Like
far.
dudes running, like there's dudes whose job is just to run through you, and if they don't, like they're getting cussed out on film. And
It's usually the biggest guys on the field too, which is
it's
crazy.
linebackers and safeties who just are hammerheads and want to just smack you. So that was my freshman year in college. Like I had horrible special teams experience of like, I'm like, man, this sucks. Like I'm not doing that. Like, you know how it is. And then my second year, I became a starter. So I don't even think I went to special teams meetings in college. Like,
Wow.
And then when I went to Notre Dame, I was talking. The special teams coordinator was the guy like recruit my area, I guess.
Okay.
And we had like a couple connections. Brian Polian.
Is he in Indy now? Is that the guy that's for the Colts?
No.
Did you have him?
I didn't have
No.
him.
Okay. Sorry.
But Brian Polian was our special teams coordinator. When he was recruiting me, he's like, "Hey, look, man, when you get to the NFL, like you're gonna have to play special teams. We want to, get you." He's like, Chase Claypool played kickoff for us, and I was all for it. I started doing the meetings, did the drills and spring ball until COVID hit, and I was ready to go. I was like, all right, like I'll play kickoff and punt, whatever it is. And then we had injuries in the receiver room, and they're like, "Look, dude, like we're not putting you on special teams. We can't afford to get you hurt. Like you're not gonna play special teams for us." So I was like, "All right." And then I get drafted or whatever, and to LA, and the special teams coordinator Joe DeCamillis, he called me. He's like, "Hey man, like have you played any special teams?" I was like, "Nope." He's like, "All right," and then like kind of hung up the phone. Like I was like, "What's going on here?" Like I don't think I was on his list of guys to draft. I think he was just calling me to like see what was up. So we go through camp and everything, and you know how every like rookie, I was a 7th rounder, so like
you were trying to make the team.
I'm trying to make the team, but I'm getting no reps in camp on special teams. Like I'm buried on the depth chart, like 7th, 8th gunner, buried on everything. We get to the preseason game. I have a kickoff rep. I almost made the tackle, but kickoff rep in the preseason. And then the next kickoff return rep, I'm blocking on kickoff return, and the returner, like I blocked my guy, locked him out.
Oh,
the returner went right through my arm, like the tackle happened on my arm, and I looked down, and my arm's like in half. I'm like, oh man, like
I was wondering how you did that. I heard that you broke your arm in that preseason, but I didn't know if it was at practice or during.
Yeah, it was the first preseason game, like kickoff return, first half. So I'm sitting there,
rookie year.
I remember this vividly. So like I'm right, like where the numbers are in the sideline, and I was supposed to be on the next offensive drive. So I look down. It was this arm. I look down and my arm's like dangling. I'm like, what the hell? And I look up and like,
so you didn't really feel it?
Nah, you know how like adrenaline goes crazy.
Yeah, bro, it does go crazy.
So I look down, my forearm's like dangling. I look up and Coach McVay is like looking at me. And I go to go in the game and I hear him on the headset. He's like, Skowronek just fucking broke his forearm.
Oh boy.
And I look down, I'm like, oh fuck, like this shit's broken. So I
crazy.
Walk off the field and they took me immediately back to the X-ray room. And I just remember it hit me there. I was like, man, I'm a 7th rounder.
Yeah,
I just broke my forearm. Like, I came to tears, man. Like, I thought my career was over. Like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. And I remember sitting in there. I got the X-rays. The X-rays were like gnarly, bro. They're like, yeah, you need surgery tomorrow. And
wow,
they called the surgeon. The surgeon was like out of town or whatever, so I had to wait like a day or two. It hurt so bad, but I remember sitting in the X-ray room. I was just by myself and like crying because I thought my career was over. And then my dog Cooper Kupp, like I looked up, he was like right there next to me. That's my dog for real. But he's like, man, everything's gonna work out, man. Like it's God's plan. Everything's gonna work out. And like
what'd they do? They IR'd you from there?
So I got surgery. I got surgery. Then there was like 2 weeks, and then it was
cut day. Then that week off before the season starts.
So we get there. I missed 2 weeks of practice. It ended up being like they're like, yo, we're putting a plate and screws. It's really like a 4-week injury.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
5-week injury. So I missed the next like 2.5 weeks. It gets to cut day. I just remember cut day. I'm like sweating the whole day. I went to this restaurant. I was living in a hotel, so I just walked across the street to this restaurant and I ordered I just sat there for hours because I didn't want to sit in my room. I was just calling every one of my contacts, just waiting for my phone to ring. I thought for sure I was getting cut. But I ended up making the team.
Wow, dude.
That's
a blessing.
crazy.
That's
a real blessing.
insane. As a 7th rounder that got hurt in the preseason,
did you have like a killer camp? That,
I was doing pretty good in camp, but we had a stacked receiver room like Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson, Tutu Atwell.
Crazy room, dude.
You guys were loaded. Was that the year you won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
What do you think solidified that for you? Is there something?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Wasn't special
what was
teams,
your edge? You think?
I was having a pretty good camp on offense.
Were you just mossing dudes?
What? He's more of a dirty receiver.
Okay. No, I respect
fucking
it.
I don't know what it was, to be honest. I had a good camp. I mean, I was a rookie. I could have done stuff better, but I think it was actually crazy. The first 2 weeks, Tutu Atwell had COVID. He was their 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he had COVID, and those first 2 weeks is when I was killing it. And then when he came back, I stopped getting reps, and I was like, oh what's going on? And then the preseason game happened. That's when I broke my forearm and everything. But I don't know. So
I'm curious, and I know you're saying that they didn't really say that, so maybe this question doesn't really do any justice, but I'm just curious, in a situation like yourself where maybe you're thinking, oh, I might not make it, but when you do make it and you feel like you're maybe on the edge, so coaches aren't pulling you aside and be like, hey, let's talk realistic. You're a 7th rounder, you got injured, but we saw this in training camp and we really like that, so lean into that. They're not giving you anything like that.
I know for a fact they're not giving you that. Especially, crazy. I'm just keeping it real from my perspective, from what I went through. In my eyes, NFL teams look for every reason not to pay you more. I think of it as almost like a car deal. If I see a scratch, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm docking $1,000 off of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes sense. If I can get something cheaper, I'm gonna get it cheaper. You know what I mean? But
I'll hold for $50,000 a year, dude. If you guys need a holder, I will hold.
Holding's hard.
Just for 50.
Be a snapper.
Is there?
You can't be a snapper.
Yeah, no, there wasn't anything like that. It was crazy. But so I came back week 2 of the season. I started practicing in red jersey. Week 3, I got cleared for contact, and I was on scout special teams. I was inactive the first 2 weeks. Week 3,
we played you early that year, or no?
No, that was the next year.
Oh fuck, I'm getting confused.
That was 2 years later. I don't know what you're thinking. This was 2020. Yeah. One. Okay. So I'm in the special teams meeting, right? And you know how they show the returns, like they're working their punt returns, and I was the scout personal protector, and I knew exactly who had to block me. I knew the return. I knew all the returns, but for some reason I was like, I'm just gonna go crazy hard in like this period, like this punt period, and I probably like 4 or 5 reps. I probably made every tag. You're not going to the ground, but tagged off every single time. And the special teams coordinator came up to me after the game. He's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna get you up this week." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "You're gonna play this week. I'm gonna fight to get you up."
Wow.
So
that's huge. That's God.
Joe D
is my guy.
Joe D's like a Danny Smith. I had Joe D in Jacksonville when I was there.
Oh, wow.
He's like a Danny Smith. He's like old school.
Real cool, real smooth.
Yeah. He'll let you know about it.
Yeah. So he's like, "Hey man, like, no promises, but I'm gonna get you up." And so all week I'm like, or really it was the next 2 days. I was like, "Am I up?" He's like, "We're working on it. We won't know till game day." So I get to the stadium. We play Tom Brady and the Bucks, and my jersey's like on my pads in my locker. I'm like, "I'm up," and he's like, "Hey, just stay by me. I'm gonna get you in. I'm gonna get you in at some point." And then put me in. The first kickoff I was in, it was probably like the third kickoff of the game, but the first kickoff I was in, I made the tackle. And then I made another one later in the game. So my first NFL game, I had 2 solos.
Wow.
And then kind of from there, it was like, "Hey, man, have you ever played gunner?" I was like, "No." He's like, "You're playing gunner this week." And then I started making plays at gunner, kickoff. And by the end of the season, I felt like I was like, I love special teams. Like it was, Joe D made it so much fun. And we had a good group of dudes. Like Johnny Hecker was our punter, who's a vet. I mean, and obviously, when you're winning, it's more fun.
Yeah. You guys won the Super Bowl that year, right?
Yeah, we won the Super Bowl.
I want to thank you on behalf of all of Steeler fans for not letting the Bengals get a Super Bowl.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Yeah,
actually, but that's how my special teams. To answer your long-winded question, that's like
how you got into it.
How I got into it, and Joe D was a great coach. Like I talk to Joe D, once a month to this day, just a phone call and talk to him, and yeah, just like I fell in love with that aspect of the game that I didn't even know existed for all these years because, like, I don't know, they don't like it's different in college than in the league.
Yeah.
It's your career in the league. Like in college, it's something you have to do, but in the league, people make careers out of it. So it's fun. You play offense, you play defense, you get a block, you get a hit.
I wanna talk about like I feel like not many people understand the differences in playing gunner and then playing PP. Like. The fact that you've done both at obviously the highest level, talk about the transition from playing, you were the PP in LA when we played you. And like, that's how we scouted you. We're like this PP, that's how we knew. I had no clue you played gunner. Now you come here. I don't know if you made that transition in Houston or like, when exactly did you make the transition to full-time gunner? And did you realize like, damn, I'm a pretty good gunner.
I'm not even asking. What is a PP?
Personal protector.
Personal protector. So you're one of the inner guys on punt. Like you're the guy that's like
you're the guy. You're the quarterback of the punt team.
You get the protection, the cadence.
Who's that here? Is that Warren?
Killebrew. Yeah. Like, how'd you transition to that? Because that's playing gunners. There's a skill set to that. There's a skill set, and you got to be pretty smart to play PP. So to change like. How was that transition?
I played gunner my rookie year. And then my second year, I didn't play any special teams. I played all offense.
What the fuck?
You started like a lot of that season, right?
I played a lot of that season on offense. And I remember going to Joe D's office. I was like, Joe D, like, put me on kickoff. Put me on, like, I was like, I want to play. I was like the third, fourth receiver. Van was kind of in and out the lineup. He was a little banged up. So me and Van were playing on offense, but like, he's like, I can't. Like, I'm trying to get you up, but I can't. So that year was, like, weird for me because I swear I played, like, I might have had, like, 10 total reps on special teams that year, which is crazy. And then my third year, Joe D got fired that offseason, and then they brought in Chase Blackburn. Great dude, man. Awesome guy.
Former player, right?
Former player.
Yeah. Linebacker.
Multiple Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Like, he picked off Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like,
wow.
Great dude. Like someone, like has stories.
Yeah.
Just because he played so long, you know, he's one of those like old heads that has like
he played
crazy
for a long
cool
time.
stories. Yeah. And just a grinder, like got it out the mud from the
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
of Ohio, went to a MAC school, undrafted, grinded his way. So I got nothing but respect for him. But when he got hired, I met with him and he's like, "Hey man, like, have you ever played PP?" I was like, "No." He's like, "I think you'd be a good PP."
Wow.
Like during that training camp, I learned it and kind of just, you know, like it's an art, like learning the rushes. I mean, that's what you study all day. So like my prep, to answer your question, like my preparation is a lot different when I'm at gunner. At gunner, I don't care about interior. Like I know I'm gonna get doubled most of the time. So
Thank you.
I watch like you know, how they play the doubles, and then if I am single, it's, you know, how I'm, you know, getting singled. So
is there a certain now, you don't got to give shit away, but like I feel like people just think if you're playing gunner, you're outrunning people, or like talk about the technique that is involved in gunner and like the different moves that someone could make. Like Danny always talks about movement in your run, getting guys to wiggle in your run, movement, so they can't get hands on you. Talk about like, what do you think majority of the guys use as a technique wise as a gunner?
I think it's like your own flavor. So like
whatever you're good at, quick step, inside, outside.
Yeah, like Brennan Schooler is like he's the top in the game right now. He just got all pro again. Shout out Brennan Schooler. He's a good player. He's doing really well right now.
Yeah, he's a ball player.
He's fast as.
He is fucking a good ball player.
Like you look at his GPS and like he's got some speed that like, you know, I'm fast, but like he's real fast. So like he can just, he uses his skill set, and for me, like I'm more of a longer player, so I kind of want like to use my length.
Yeah.
And I think it's just everyone's like individual flavor. Like if you look at JP for us, like he's got a way different way of playing the position than I got. So it's all just like a, you know, what's your skill set? How are you going to maximize your skill set? And like you can watch all the tape you want of someone playing gunner, but like at the end of the day, you just got to win. And however you win, like you got to do it.
Can you talk about like the difference between getting viced in comparison to being single? Because I used to watch a lot of gunner tape. That was a majority of my position when I played in college. So with that said, man, like talk about the difference, because I've seen guys get out there, bro, and they get brutalized, man, like hemmed up bad. So like talk about the difference and how much work you have to put in to get out of that.
Like first and foremost, like when I get a single, I almost view it as like disrespect.
Yeah.
And I remember my Joe D used to always say that. He's like, if you're getting singled at gunner, like you're no good. Like, so personally, like I like to be doubled. Like it just shows me like
they're looking at me. They want to double me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then it's like my mindset. It's really, to me, like special teams is 90% your mindset. Like if you have like that mindset of like, fuck it, I'm gonna do anything and win this rep. Like really, like anything to win this rep. And you know, there's technique and skill that you learn along the way and like remember stuff. But like when I'm getting viced, you know, I don't want to give away, you know, secrets on here, but like, you know, you gotta know the rules. The special teams rule book is completely different than offense, defense. Like you gotta know the rules like the back of your hand. And when I was a young player, I was, you know, fortunate enough to like really learn the rules. That's helped me out a lot. And then just like having the mindset of no matter what, like you gotta win this rep. Right. And even if you lose to start the rep, that's what made Slater so good. Is he'd play harder than the guy across from him every single time. Like if he got for some weird reason like stuck at the line of scrimmage, he was still gonna be in on the tackle just because he wouldn't give up. Like that's what made him great, is his motor, and I feel like that's what makes a lot of like. I mean, you watch so much tape, like the really good teamers in this league have this motor to them that like it's a bitch to play against, you know?
Right. Yeah, I wanted to ask too, like, so a lot of times people will talk about with special teams, it's a big time like momentum shifter. And I say this jokingly, but also seriously. How do you feel about basically being a part of the last two plays for Kadarius Toney and kind of changing the outlook of that? Because why I say that jokingly is obvious.
He threw a football at you, so he deserves it.
Yes, and then muffed the next punt that you recovered, correct? And but that changes a game, right? Like, are you going in there like I'm not get a guy cut, but like
also part two to that. What's Christian saying to you when you guys go in the end zone and take the group?
I'm
picture?
trying
to get him.
He just wants a cool picture.
Yeah, I just want, dude. That's literally all I want.
Like, he comes up to me on the sideline and Kuntz is like, "Dude, I think they might have got a cool picture."
Time out. I'm actually pissed because we recovered the fumble against Cleveland, and I got this sick ass pic from the fumble in Washington. Like my best picture, like best picture yet.
Looking like a make
This
a wish.
dude recovers the fumble. I'm behind him, run him like to the camera, the camera. Dude. He doesn't run to the camera.
It was a sick pick.
He instead runs across the end zone. Too much running for me. I was like tapped out. I'm done. I was like, I'm not running that far. He runs across the end zone, and then you motherfucker throws our best K-ball, number 1 K-ball that was brushed up into the stands.
And got fined for it.
And you deserved it.
Dude, if you're watching this podcast and you
have the football.
Have that football.
You're
invited to our next recording, right?
Yeah.
You get that ball back.
If you caught the ball, you can be the third co-host.
Yes. You're going to sit right here for an episode.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know.
Now they're actually going to show up.
Yeah. We're going to get some emails.
But they have to bring the ball.
All right.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's not going to happen.
Do you realize like what you did there with the K-ball though? I need to like explain this to people what you did with the K-ball. You know that K-balls like kickers, punters, snappers, we like snapping, kicking, punting, broken in balls that you can, better grip, not slick, whatever.
Yeah, Tom Brady service.
So the game balls, the guys get a 1 hour to brush them, and then they have to go. They get tested for obviously air or whatever, and then
it was the fourth quarter.
They have to go away. So like they obviously spend a lot of time on the one ball, thinking like, oh, some jagoff's not gonna.
This is definitely not going to be a touchdown.
Just gets
fucking
jagoff.
Your Yinzer's coming out.
Yeah, this guy, no remorse, throws it in the
He's
stands.
a Yinzer.
I'm like,
wait, you really threw it in the stands?
Dude, chucked it.
Underhand tossed it.
Like this.
What like enticed that? Were you just like in the
fired
moment?
up?
Yeah.
I was in the game when Pat scored on the seam and Pat punted it, and I was like, I think we're just all throwing the balls.
So you one of the boys?
It was like the first, because I missed a lot of the season, like the start of the season. So I think that was that was my second home game, and that was the first time I had made a play where like the terrible towels are out. And,
Sick.
It was rocking. I was like,
felt it.
I felt the energy, and I was
the
like,
moment.
fuck it.
Yeah.
Good. I love that.
Coat, dude. It's like came over you.
It was sick, and then we got a cool pick.
Yeah.
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 I was chasing you, and then we got the cool pick, and it was over.
That pick was sick.
The pick was sick.
It was up in the hall. I ended up, getting the poster of it.
No, that's pretty cool. It was a great pick. After that, I remember you came up to me on the sidelines, and I'm not making this up. You said,
So
that's
great. Until I signed, cut that part.
Yeah.
I ain't taking no discount. Cut that part.
This
is getting cut, producers.
Talk to the producers. I'm not a producer. No, but seriously, you get, you got traded to Houston from LA. I know we didn't touch on that, and you were there for this training camp. You got released by Houston, which is kind of crazy, and then we picked you up. And I want to kind of just touch on the differences from that culture and either LA, Houston compared to Steelers, and then like Mike T and like how you view Mike Tomlin, because you've been with multiple head coaches. I've only seen Mike T, so I kind of like getting other perspectives on like head coaches and what you think.
Yeah, that was a crazy it's been a crazy 9 months.
I
went from
through it.
It was the first time, because everyone says like the NFL is a cutthroat business, and like my first 3 years, I ain't saying shit was sweet, but like I was in the same spot as a 7th round pick for 3 years, and like shit was like going pretty well for me, but some stuff happened in LA where I ended up it was like we just kind of parted ways, which was cool. Ended up in Houston. They had a really good like special teams culture there. Something that
Frank's good, yeah.
Frank Ross is a great coach.
Yeah.
Something that I don't want to say like didn't have in the past, but like they put a lot of their salary cap into special teams, which you know how it is. Like some teams do, some teams don't. They're one of the teams who had core teamers, vets, like 8, 9, 10-year vets, guys who can really play special teams. And they spent like time, like install, meetings, practice. They spent time on special teams.
I feel like we're similar to that.
We are.
We're very similar to that.
But we're in LA, like
they didn't really care.
The culture on special teams, like, it's like the investment, and I get it. Like, it's whatever the GM's philosophy is or the head coach. Yeah. Like, we want our team OD, but like, here is very balanced and like,
everyone, every like phase of the game here is viewed. Like special teams is viewed just as importantly as offense and defense here. Like
I do have a follow up just about. I mean, you could touch base as much as you want. It's this. We can even chop this question out. But like that departure from LA was pretty abrupt, right? Can you speak to that a little bit? Like how did you process that? How did you learn about that? Like,
what was your mental like during that time? I'm really curious.
So like
again, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
So like,
I talked to my agent after the season, and I felt like my floor, because I played a lot of offense in 22, and then they drafted Puka Nacua, who's like, that's my dog. Like, I love that dude.
And his rookie year was insane.
He went crazy. And I really didn't play much offense after he got there, which I get. Like, he set records. Like, he's a dog.
Of course.
And, it was just one of those things where I talked to my agent, and I knew that they've never had like a second contract special teamer. Like they had Johnny Hecker, but like I'm talking kicker, punter, snapper. Like they're always getting guys rookie deals or undrafted free agents. And I thought I put myself in a good position in year 3. Like I finished with like all pro votes, Pro Bowl alternate, like top of the league in tackles. Like I felt like I put myself in a good position, to be a special teamer in this league. Like, my rookie year, I did good. My second year, I didn't play. My third year, I had a good year. So I was like, at some point, you got to look in the mirror and be like, who am I as a player? And I was like, okay, I know my floor as a player I can be a great special teamer if I invest in it and like, like do it. And, there was just some stuff there that like, every kick was pretty much a touchback, and I knew with the new kickoff rule, that they wanted touchbacks, and like, I mean, you can look at the stats this year. Like I don't know if they covered a kick.
Jeez.
So it's just like, and they have Stafford's a dog at quarterback, so they're not punting much.
Right.
And I knew like, my opportunity was going to be limited going into a contract year on not only offense but also on special teams.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
So. It was a tough conversation with my agent. He's like, man, are you sure? And I just felt like, man, I feel like we should ask for, I was like, whether it's asked to be traded, asked to be released. So anyway, like they talked or whatever, my agent, and my agent talked to them at the combine. They're like, oh man, we love him. Like, I thought the conversation ended well. Then the next day he called me and was like, hey man, we're going to release you. I was like, all right, like, cool. And then I get called again. It's like, we're not going to release you. I was like, what? He's like, we're going to trade you. I was like, all right, like, where am I being traded? And then it was to Houston. I get to Houston.
You said you had a good camp.
I thought I had a great camp. Like, was killing it.
That was this year, right?
That was this year.
Right.
So
that's crazy.
It's crazy. Like, the NFL, like, I'm talking, I get traded that night. I'm on a flight to Houston. Physical, passive physical, trade goes through.
This is in the spring or before camp?
This was in like mid-May.
Wow.
Okay.
So I do phase 3 in Houston.
Wow.
And like I had to move everything from LA to Houston. Like, shout out my fiance Bree. Like, how
trooper.
Like,
yeah, it's tough.
Big trooper.
She was she's been a trooper all year. Bouncing around and stuff with me. But so I get to Houston, I thought the way that they were talking to me, like, certain people in the building, I thought I was having a great camp, especially on the special teams. Like, I went back to Gunner there. They cross-trained me at Gunner and PP, thank God, because like when I got here, I went straight to Gunner.
Yeah.
So I was getting reps, and like I said, they work down there, and they have good players. So like Mike Ford was down there, Chris Boyd, like real good gunners, jammers. So every day was a competition. So like I felt like I got so much better at gunner down there.
Wow.
Frank Ross was a great coach and everything. And some stuff was said to me to where I thought I was going to be there for the next few years, if you know what I mean. And then a week later on cut day, this was like the best I've ever felt on cut day. Like, you know how cut day rolls around?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I don't know if you've been in cut day
I
with
have.
multiple snappers and like
I've been with, I've had three,
like
where you don't know.
you don't know. Like if you're a special teamer, you're not a superstar player, like you never know on cut day.
You just don't know.
And cut day rolled around. I'm eating breakfast and they called me in and they're like, "Hey man, we're gonna release you." And I was shocked, like
Wow.
shocked. And everything happens for a reason.
We picked you up pretty quick after that.
So I called my agent. My agent's like, "What?" Like
He was shocked.
he was shocked.
That had to hurt a little bit.
Did they
Oh,
sign
yeah.
someone that like prompted that, or like what? I mean,
No, they just like they
Just-
kept 7 receivers and
Really?
didn't keep me. So
Interesting. Thank you, Houston.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
for sure.
it was crazy, man. It was like I was very like, it was a very eye opening experience. It was the first time I've been cut. Like really, like LA ended up trading me, but like it was
Right.
back to back, and my confidence went like
down.
when someone tells you you're not good enough, whatever. Like the GM, you shake his hand, like we want you back on practice squad, but my confidence, I was like, damn, am I like not built for this? Like I have no idea.
Wow.
So I called my agent. I was like, "Hey man, like I just got released." He's like, "What are you talking about?" Nah, like I just got released. He's like, "All right, like what do you want to do?" I was like, "Well, what do you think?" And he's like, "Pittsburgh. You're going to Pittsburgh." I was like, "Why?" He said, "Trust me, like you're going." Like this was like 30 minutes after being released. Like my agent called me, like, "You're going to Pittsburgh." And part of me was like, man, I already got all my stuff out here. Like, I'd be on practice squad in Houston. But, there's a couple other teams that called for practice squad spots. And he's like, if you don't get claimed on waivers, like, you're going to Pittsburgh. I was like, all right, I'm trusting my agent here.
Shout out to your agent. Appreciate
Shout out
it.
to-
Roosevelt Barnes, he's the man. So it was one of those things.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
People don't understand the NFL, dude. The
Mm-mm.
NFL
Yeah,
is
that's
like,
It was a hard, like, I mean, it's been a hard year just because of how much I moved. And I don't really have a home base right now and just kind of live in, like,
at the facility.
shout out my parents. They're in my storage unit right now. And yeah.
Jeez.
But
That's wild, bro.
so I came here on practice squad.
You were on the practice squad the first couple weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then we finally.
I was on practice squad week 1, and I thought I played okay at gunner. Like, it was my first time playing gunner in a while, so I was like, hopefully they bring me up week 2. Week 2, I went crazy. Like, forced 2 holds, had 2 solos.
Who'd we play?
Denver.
In Denver. Yeah, you
Then I-
did. You
then
got
I-
hurt.
Then I broke my shoulder. And then I was like, oh, shit. Like,
Wait, what?
Wait, huh?
Yeah,
I
he was
went on
hurt this
IR.
year.
I was hurt for like 7 weeks.
Dude,
I
I knew
can't-
you were.
I didn't know.
I didn't know you broke your
Broke your
shoulder.
shoulder.
Yeah, I went in on like,
Maybe I should pay more attention. But
I
damn,
went in on,
crazy.
Wait. You said you broke your shoulder and you're a gunner.
yeah, I didn't know. I just kept playing. Like, I knew I landed on my shoulder weird, but I was like, man, like, what?
I saw you get up. I remember they play on our sideline, red punt,
Yeah, I got pushed in
Yeah,
the back and
pushing
landed,
it back and
boom.
landed straight on your shoulder. And he got up and he was like, I said, you good? He said, yeah, I'm good.
And
What
then-
did it feel like?
He's like
was
this.
it like? Did you know it was? Because I've had a shoulder injury and I couldn't identify if it was like collarbone or like.
No, it was
it's
just
like a weird pain.
It was
you know
like
what
a
I mean?
weird. It didn't hurt too bad, and also like I said, like adrenaline goes crazy.
Yeah.
So like the next punt, I got vice, and like I used both arms, threw the guy to the ground, made the solo to end the game. There's like 10 seconds left.
With the shoulder. With
Yeah.
broken
With the
shoulder.
shoulder.
That's crazy.
In
Man.
in a moment like that, like so you had an
Your
injury
translation.
earlier. You were kind of going through, this situation and getting bounced around. When you like have a inkling of like, oh, I might have jacked up my shoulder there. Are you just like terrified in the sense of like, no, it's not broken, because you don't want to like because now if you're injured again, like then that's another,
Yeah.
like it's just like getting in car accidents in a car. It's like that car's value just continually goes down. Are you just like
Well,
trying
I'm
to tell
like-
yourself?
It wasn't like a knock on wood, like a major like injury, thank God. But
Well, that's
Put
good.
behind you if you need to. That's a shelf. That's a wooden shelf. There you go.
like yeah, it's one of those things. But like in that moment, I was on a P squad elevation, so I'm
Yeah.
like, how does it work? Like I just got hurt, but on Monday morning, I was like, I can just thug it out. Like
Yeah.
I can play.
Right.
And then I remember going into the training room because I called my agent. I was like, what do I do? Like, do I lie about it?
Right,
Like,
you're probably so scared.
But I went in there and they're like, "Can you lift your arm up?" And I just remember like trying to get my arm up.
Yeah,
like, go get an MRI. I get an MRI. They're like, "Yo, your shit's fucked up." Like,
Christian in there getting treatment on his finger at that time?
Probably.
My finger was messed up.
That shit looks fucked up.
It was fucked
He
up.
injured it before the game, not during the game.
Yeah.
But it was crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
in that moment, because I was like, I didn't know what protection I had getting hurt.
Right.
I didn't know if the Steelers were just gonna release me.
Yeah, you
Like,
got to feel in denial in a moment like
But
that.
then, shout out Omar, the GM. Like he came up and talked to me. He's like, "Hey man, so, we're gonna sign you to the 53 and then put you on IR." And I remember calling my agent. My agent, like Omar, talked to my agent too. He's like, "Look, man, there's like a risk doing this because then when you sign, it's like you're healthy and they could just
Release you right when
release
you get
you.
healthy.
And I was like, "Well, like, what do you think?" He's like, "I don't think they're gonna do it."
Oh, God,
But like,
that's gotta
so
be
I remember that
Jeez.
that like 24 hours was a
You
little
were
sketchy
sweating.
for me. It's like it's the part of the NFL that people don't know. But shout out the Steelers. I remember like being out there at practice after I was hurt, and like Coach Tomlin was like, "We're gonna need you this year. Like, don't blink." And I was like, "Damn, like that's hard."
That's
Oh,
huge, bro.
let's go.
That's huge.
So,
And God
yeah.
bless you, brother. For real. Like, that's a
That's
blessing
cool.
right there.
Yeah,
Like,
it was dope, man. Like Coach C is like, he's the man. Like when you asked me, I don't think we ever got to the question, but when you asked me about like head coaches, like
He's cool as shit. Yeah.
Coach Tomlin, the first team meeting, I came in there,
You were fired up.
I was like the culture he builds and everything. I'm like, I remember leaving that team meeting. I've never had a team meeting like that. Like Coach McVay did a great job in team meetings and everything, but the way that Coach Tomlin like captures a room and like
Yeah.
he speaks to the whole team of like we're all on the same page, man. And that's like the culture in Pittsburgh. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Like you haven't really been anywhere else, but like the locker room's so connected. Like this, I don't know. I just like I feel the culture.
Yeah. I've heard that from, we've heard that from multiple people that have come on the pod that have been in different spots about, the culture and how he captivates a room and gets everyone's attention like that. But
It's crazy. Like the first team meeting, bro. Like I'm sitting there. He's like, everyone in this room is here for a reason. I'm like, man, he don't really know who I am. But
didn't he call you out in the first
he's
meeting?
like,
He called him out in the
if
first
you're on P
meeting.
Squad, he's like, he says something like, Ben, you're gonna like help this team win games.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Dude, I just got goosebumps because I've been that guy. Like I played D2. I always talk about this on the show, but like I was a walk-on. So like anytime like you're acknowledged in front of like your peers,
that's huge.
or like just like you're seen by that staff.
Yeah.
Like you're like, dude, like now I want to go harder.
Right.
Like
Right.
now I want to
That's
like.
how I felt.
Right.
And- but it was funny. He was like, he called me Bennett. He's like, we're gonna use you, Bennett. And I was like who the fuck's Bennett?
It's all right. It's all right. I don't even care.
He knows me. It's all right.
But
I
at
already
practice,
know.
I was Coach T. I was just joking around. I was like, "Hey man, you can just call me Ben." He's like, "I got you, man." But
Yeah, my name's Ben, not Bennett.
Are you the new Big Ben? Like we
no,
call you
I ain't
Big
going
Ben.
that far.
No.
I know, you're not.
But
Big Ben.
yeah, man, like the culture that he has here is crazy.
Yeah. And the Yinzer fans, you love the Yinzer.
Well,
you love
my dad's from
Connellsville.
Connellsville, Pennsylvania.
Whoa,
Shout out
whoa.
Connellsville.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Right there in the mountains.
Yeah, right down there. So I used to go visit my grandparents like twice a year, usually in the summer. And then during Christmas break, we go out there. And my uncle on my mom's side played. He bounced around a handful of teams, but he spent a majority of his time on the Chiefs.
Are you talking about Trent Green? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we were going to ask you about that.
like my uncle bounced around.
He said it all
Dude,
smooth,
he's like
bro.
one of the
He
greatest
was on
Chiefs of
Kansas
all
City for
time.
most of his career, and then
Yeah.
went to like Miami, St. Louis. Started his career in
He was a
like
dog, dude.
San Diego
Bro.
and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
So I grew up
absolutely.
around the game, and I always every Sunday we watch him. But when the Steelers are on, like my dad always had the Steelers on. So that's kind of like the football. The Steelers are part of the reason why I just love football, and like the guys I grew up watching, like people are like, why do you like to block so much a receiver? I'm like, I grew up watching Hines Ward. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
You could tell you're a Pittsburgh guy at heart. I'm not gonna lie. Just how you play, like
Yeah.
the fans love you just because you're gritty, bro. Like you gotta understand, Pittsburgh's a gritty ass place.
it's gritty,
like,
man.
It's
Like,
been dark for the last 5 days straight.
dark and snowy. It's dark at about 4:30, but yeah, man, it's in my blood, man. Like,
Yeah.
my dad's not from Pittsburgh, but it's like, it's southwest, southeast.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
man, like about an hour south. And I mean, everyone's Steelers fans around here. You go out to eat now, it's like, good luck this weekend. Like, there's little stuff like that where, like, in LA,
sick.
like,
They don't
go
know
out
who
to
you
eat.
are.
They don't know who the hell I am, which I'm cool with. Like, I don't want fame and all that, but it's different. It's different out here.
It's definitely cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that in LA. I mean, I feel like LA people essentially they don't.
They're like
do,
the
they,
fourth
do they even really
most
care
important
about
team out there.
football or sports besides the Lakers?
Right.
Like,
That's their home team too. You gotta understand, like Pittsburgh Steelers, this is our home team. Like the LA Rams, kind of like St. Louis, LA. They kept bouncing back and forth. Like you could just tell
got
it's
the Chargers out there.
Yeah,
You
but
got
this
some-
is also like this is the what the blood of like the city is. Like in LA, how many other things you got to do? Like
Right.
there's so much stuff going
There's
on
nothing
in
to do here.
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Like,
it's-
other than watch football. I mean, dude, don't get me
Sports
wrong,
in
Christian.
general.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. Like,
there's a ton of shit to do here.
I mean, yeah. I went to a couple Pirates games growing up. I went to Kennywood. Like,
Kennywood's a good
I
park.
spent some time in Kennywood with my grandparents. Great
wait,
time.
you went to Kennywood?
all the
Kennywood's
time.
a good
growing up.
park.
I went to Kennywood.
good park.
It's a good
What's your
park.
favorite ride?
I can't remember.
Phantom's
Or
Revenge.
a
Phantom's
Jackrabbit.
the best
I
ride.
mean, that sounds familiar. I can't. It was
Have you
so
rode the
Purple and
Steeler
green.
roller coaster? It's been broke forever. They
I
put
think it's
Kenny Pickett
broke,
on that shit,
I
and then
know.
like
It
nobody's
broke.
been able to ride it since.
Yeah, I haven't been on that one. Maybe we'll go back.
I'll go back to
I'll
Kennywood.
go
I'd
back.
be
It'll
happy.
bring back some nostalgia. Like I used to go there with my aunts, uncles, cousins.
Oh, like growing
grandparents.
up.
Growing up, yeah.
Really? That's
When
interesting.
I was a young little jit. No, but LA, it got rocking in SoFi sometimes, but sometimes it was also we were
Yeah,
on
when
the,
the Steelers played there.
we were on the silent at home. Like,
Yeah, you were like, what the hell?
like it was crazy. Like there were some games where it was really rocking, but like sometimes like when the 49ers came, we're on the silent counter. Like when the Eagles play or with the Steelers, like when the Steelers
Silent
came, it
count.
was, 70-30, away fans.
Wild.
And I get it. SoFi is a destination stadium, and like it's the city. The Rams are like newer back to LA.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have majority of the LA people are San Fran fans, and there's also like so much you can do in LA. Like,
Yeah.
They don't care about the football game that's going on.
No.
like they'd
Yeah.
rather be in Manhattan Beach, like
Yeah,
on the beach, and the
Yeah.
like
chilling.
for
We
free.
got the point here, dude.
Yeah.
What else you need? You got
Yeah.
Southside, you got the Strip.
You got the Monongahela.
Dude,
Yeah.
you got
Go to
what-
Erie if you want to see
You
a
got
beach.
the incline.
You got the
Incline.
incline,
You got
dude.
some icy lights.
Ice-
First ever beer I ever drank.
Iron
Hold
City,
on, time out.
Ices. I mean,
What?
Get the fuck out.
First ever beer was Icy Light.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
all
said
my
the
dad had.
worst beer you ever
Oh,
had.
no,
I was
no,
about
no,
to be
first,
like, what the
first.
fuck? You can't fucking
First-
say that.
first
First
beer he's ever had. Icy
Okay,
Light. He was
okay,
10 years
sorry.
old.
We're not gonna talk about the
Okay.
age.
How old were you?
I can't remember.
You were 10.
That's when you started drinking icy light, bud.
No, I was 12. I was.
There's a lot
That
to
was
cut
like
out of this
13.
show.
There's a lot to cut out. Yeah.
There's a lot. We'll go through it. We'll come through it, but I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got offensive dinner. I heard you're paying.
I told Russ. I said, Russ, man, if you need me to pay, man.
Yeah,
So
right.
he
You're
said-
not paying
He
that.
said we good.
Well, thank you, Benny Sko, for coming on. I want everybody to give a big Sko. One more now. Sko. One
This
more
is
now.
weird.
Sko.
This is making me uncomfortable.
Like, share, subscribe, retweet, repost. Ben Skowronek.
Co-host Ben Skowronek.
Oh, shit.
Ben Skowronek.
Co-host.
Not a co-host.
Not yet.
Episode 26. Yes!